So you just reached level 10, and now you can finally attack player ships, but when you go to take down this guy, he's out of your range. Or at least that's what happened to me when I started. You see, there are a lot of little nuances and rules to know about when it comes to PvP in Fleet Command. So in this video, I've put together every bit of information about PvP that I know of to help you guys out. Now I'll start off with ship PvP first and then get into station PvP. Let's start out with the level difference system. At level 10, you'll be able to attack player ships within 2 levels of you, meaning that at level 10, you can attack up to level 12 players, and if you're level 12, you can attack down to level 10 or up to level 14. This 2-level rule applies all the way to level 20, where the rules start to change. For example here, you can attack down to level 18, but up to level 24 instead of the expected 22. Now, as you go up in level, the player levels that you can attack increase exponentially. However, this also means that those higher level players, well, they can attack you as well. Now, if you want to know the level range at which you can attack and be attacked by, you can go to pvptarget.com and input your current level. This will give you your PvP range, and it can be useful to know your future level ranges as well in case you want to hold off leveling up your operations to avoid being attacked by higher level players. So now that you know what level ranges you can attack, well, it's time to start firing away, right? Hold on, not so fast, Space Cowboy. You might have heard of something called the ROE, or the Rules of Engagement. The ROE is a set of rules of which all the players on the server will follow when it comes to PvP. This is to keep fair play on the server and to avoid things like griefing, trolling, or hogging resources, which sounds fun, but only for you, not the person you took it from. Now keep in mind that these are not official rules set by Scopely. Think of it more as a gentleman's agreement. You can break these rules, but then you would just put a big mark on your back and everyone on the server would consider you rogue and, well, target you more pretty much by anybody who wants to go after you. You're fair game at that point. So you probably don't want to break these rules, but what exactly are the rules? Well, these rules vary from server to server, so make sure to ask your alliance mates to fill you in or ask in the Galaxy chat. And if you want to, you can even ask to join your server's Discord channel, which will usually have the ROE written out there for you. Now, I say it varies from server to server, but the ROE always carries a few fundamental rules, which I will explain right now. Now, the most important concept to know is about protected cargo. Every ship has 2 cargoes. The first smaller cargo area is your protected cargo, meaning that you can never have it taken away from you, even if your ship is attacked and destroyed. The second cargo stores the rest of your resources if your protected cargo is already filled up. So if your ship is destroyed while having cargo over your protected cargo, you'll lose all of that loot over, of course, the protected amount. Now, when you scan enemy ships, you can see if they have anything for you to steal in their cargo. So if a survey is on a material node and it says that it has no cargo, that means that the survey is under protected cargo, or UPC. Attacking a ship under that protected cargo is usually considered an act of war, and as such is something you probably shouldn't do regarding the rules of engagement, or once again, you become the target on your server, which you may like, I don't know. Now, if you see a survey which has raidable resources, that means that the ship is over protected cargo. No matter if it has 100 resources or 10,000, attacking a survey over protected cargo is regarded legal to attack within the ROE. Now, there are certain exceptions for attacking UPC ships. Again, this can change from server to server, but as a general rule, if a survey is on a 0 node, which basically it's mining but there are no resources left for it to mine, then you can destroy it even if it is UPC, because basically they left their ship there and it's just sitting there doing nothing. They've gone, they didn't take care of it. It's yours to take care of in your own kind of way. Now, another exception for attacking a UPC ship is if it's a warship and not a survey. Not only that, but all warships are considered legal attacks whenever you like. So if any battleship, explorer, or interceptor you see is flying around, it's free game. Now, you might upset some people, but it's not technically an act of war. They just had some goodies that you wanted. Or it's Mr. Penguin Clubber. Yeah, I'm not gonna forget. That is unless, of course, your server specifically states that, which is not normal, so make sure you're filled in with the rules on your server. Which, by the way, if you want to join my server, Server 710, come and join the Lex Force. Now, another general rule which provides immunity to all ships in the space is if you find yourself in a token space. These systems, which require a token to enter, are held as safe spaces, and destroying an enemy ship here is considered an act of war regardless. So those are the base ROE rules which you'll generally find across every server. So to recap, no loot, no attack, unless they're on a 0 node. You can attack warships anytime except if they're in token space. Pretty simple rules. Now let's talk about station combat. At level 15, you'll unlock the ability to raid players' bases to steal their base material like parsteel, tritanium, and dilithium. Now, the level range we talked about earlier applies the exact same way in station combat, and as it turns out, attacking a player's station isn't considered an act of war. So if you see an unprotected base and you're just feeling kind of villainous, go ahead. By doing so, you won't cause any wars. I mean, maybe. However, do beware, your base can also be raided if you leave yourself unprotected, so make sure to apply peace shields overnight to avoid losing all of your hard-earned materials. Just realized I did not protect my base last night. Oh, look at this. I see this guy, he's overthinking, oh, I'm about to go raid my neighbor, but how does raiding work? Well, I'm glad you asked. Once you attack a station, whether you destroy it or not, an automatic 10-minute shield will be applied to the player's station. This makes it so that if they're available, they can log in and apply their longer shield, making it so that you can't steal the materials. However, if they're away for some reason, they're, on the toilet, they're at school, they're out mowing the lawn, whatever it is, and that 10-minute shield runs out, well then, they're free game. And this is where it gets diabolical, because once you destroy their base, you're going to want to relocate your station right next to theirs, and then you can basically start mining their materials away. Now, this process can take a very long time, depending on how many resources they have, so you'll want to send out your survey with the most total cargo to be as efficient as possible. You literally just take up camp right next door to them, and you just run back and forth from your house to theirs, taking all of their stuff as much as you can until they get back. It's just like that. Now you can sit there and just raid their base over and over again until they have nothing left if you're just that evil, or until they log back on and put up a shield. That's basically how it's done. Now it sounds like that it would be an act of war to destroy and mine out an entire player station, right? However, the shield or share rule is generally accepted server-wide. But again, make sure you learn about your own server's ROE in case of any caveats here that I didn't catch. You probably wouldn't want to start any wars by accident. Or, I mean, maybe you do. So now you know how to attack and steal resources from stations, as well as you understand the fundamental rules of PvP. But who should you attack and who should you avoid? Well, if you join an alliance, you might notice there are some colored markings on players. These are applied by your alliance and make it easy for you to see who your allies are and who are your enemies around the galaxies. Now, the purple symbol generally means that they're allied. The red symbol generally means enemies. Of course, you'll want to ask your alliance if that's exactly what their symbols mean, but generally that's kind of the gist of it. But it does, however, vary from alliance to alliance. Now let's talk a little bit about strategy, starting with officers and crew that you would like to use for PvP. One of the important things to know when crewing for PvP is that many of the officers that you use for PvE will not have any effect against players. All officers with abilities that read against hostiles are only effective against red PvE hostiles, and they will not have any effect against players. Some of the more common used PvE officers like Chen and Moreau are completely useless for PvP. It's hard to acquire many PvP officers early in game, but some ones that you can use are Kamal, Vartok, and Rukor. These common officers will all increase the damage if placed on a specific type of warship. Combine these officers with ones that synergize with them, and your captain maneuver will grant you a 40% boost in damage against players, as well as defensive and offensive officer boosts to go along with it. Now, another combo that you can use is Next Gen LaForge as your captain paired with synergizing officers for a 20% damage reduction. Another great early game PvP crew, which might be a little harder to get at first, is Kirk as your captain along with Spock and Bones. This is a morale crew which aims to restore your shield and health every round that you're in battle. Now, if you don't know what morale does, be sure to check out my video on this explaining everything about ships and officers, which also covers all of the status effects. But for now, morale increases your ship piercing, armor penetration, and accuracy by 10%. This crew's effectiveness works much better the higher level Spock that you have, as you restore much more shield health per round. Those are just a few of the PvP crews that you can use. If you've got a better one, let me know in the comments down below. Now let's go over a few strategies real quick, which may help you guys out. First off, always make sure that you stay shielded overnight. Obviously, don't do what I did last night, because of course you want to make sure nobody moves in next door to you and steals all your stuff. Also, if you've made a lot of enemies in the galaxy, I'd recommend moving your station to one of those outer systems and not within the central systems with a lot of players, which garner a lot of traffic and you will be recognized quicker. Totally didn't happen to me. And if you've been particularly mischievous on your server and you're a really hot target, it might not even be a bad idea to retreat your base all the way to the baby planets. Just saying, could save you some trouble. Now, as for attacking, make sure that you move your ship right beside an enemy before attacking it so that they have no time to react and recall their ships. If you attack a ship from like 3 minutes away, it'll notify the player that you're en route and they're coming after him, and they're gonna have plenty of time to recall their ship to safety, if they're a wuss. Now, I'd also recommend warping your ship out of the system you just attacked someone on, as if they're online, they may send one of their stronger warships or one of their alliance mates to come after you and destroy you. You don't want to stick around for that. So those are the basics of PvP in Star Trek Fleet Command. Hopefully this clears up any confusion regarding space combat for you new players. Now that you know, you can try not to start any galactic wars out there. Or, maybe you want to. You do you. Peace out.